And we will start that next week, same time. I'd like to discuss in conjunction with that comparison variable and absorption costing one more issue. And this is the choice of the denominator level of production. Because this is another issue where you can influence your results. Basically, there are, in theory, 4 options to make assumptions about your capacity in your denominator level of production. Theoretical capacity is something what is the maximum production capacity of a manufacturing company. So this means 365 days a year, 24 hours, and full stop. Of course, theoretical capacity is not practical capacity. Practical capacity means that a company does not work maybe on weekends, that there might be some periods for maintenance or so, and this is the maximum what could be achieved, maximum capacity utilization, what could be achieved in practice. Normal capacity is the capacity utilization based on your experience. So it's probably lower than practical capacity. And master budget capacity is the capacity what you assume in budgeting. For next year, if you were a controller already, now it's the planning season, and maybe the forecast for next year is not very good because it's very vulnerable, demand goes down, prices go up, and so on. So maybe your master budget capacity is lower than normal capacity. And what you see is that fixed cost per unit depend very much based on the capacity utilization. By the way, normal capacity is what is required for financial accounting. So I referred here to IAS 2, and there you have the requirement that you use normal capacity. Here you see the allocation of fixed production overhead to cost of conversion is based on the normal capacity. And normal capacity is a production expected to be achieved on average over a number of periods or seasons under normal circumstances. And then, this is what you should assume, unallocated overhead. This is production volume variance. Unallocated overheads are recognized as an expense in the period in which they incur. So, even in financial accounting, even if you don't show the line production volume variance, but it's to be considered as an expense. Master budget capacity again is the capacity what you assume in your budget. And now, yes?
Some companies use small ones, use actual level by the time they produce production. Why big companies do not use the actual level?
Sorry, I did not understand.
Some small companies use actual level of production. Only by the time they produce, then they allocate fixed costs, not beforehand.
Yeah, because they don't use standard costing. Obviously.
So the standard costing we use, how it helps in the future, like before we are allocating fixed cost before
Yeah.
actual production.
Yeah, standard cost helps because you know for internal purposes, you know what cost should incur. And standard costing is one way to build up variance analysis. And standard costing is very much used in budgeting also. But if you say, yes, there are small companies which might not have a very elaborated budgeting process, then they use actual cost for production. Any more comments? So, small example to make you a little bit more active. The example is you have a company producing bicycles. They have fixed overhead cost, only fixed cost of 200,000. And now the question is, what is the fixed cost rate, the rate for fixed overhead cost based on different capacity assumptions. So theoretical capacity is 10,000 units, practical capacity is 85% of that, normal capacity 75%, and master budget is 60%. Oh. It's up to you for calculation. So, the more is the difference between variable and absorption cost. So, I have that example, and I would like to ask you to use the Excel file. It's more comfortable for you. I have that on Moodle. You should be able to use it. If you do not want to use Excel, you can use your calculators, but it's a little bit more tricky. So, assume this bicycle manufacturer and assume that actual production is 8,400. Sales is 6,000 units. And now the variable in this calculation is the denominator level of production. So the one where you use your fixed cost rate. You can use theoretical, the comparison is between theoretical capacity, practical capacity, normal capacity, and master budget capacity. You have calculated before. And you know that it's about the 200,000 of fixed manufacturing cost. And I'll now switch to Excel and to the template. No, this is not what I wanted. This is just afterward. Here, it's our absorption costing and variable costing thing. And if you see here you can see what are the basic assumptions.